Hey everyone, this is Nitro. So my apologies, it completely slipped my mind this week to create a video on the Mercenaries of the Week. Until, actually, one of my viewers commented in one of my videos to create one. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video, talking about the Mercenaries of this week and which ones are useful. So, let's start off with the top one, which is Landius. Now, this Landius is 5 stars. And the power rating is 63-68. Remember that power rating is affected by soldiers, but overall this Landius is reasonably usable. Thorns enchant, it has a bloodline magic armor for the chance to decrease melee attack damage by 30%, reducing, let's say, the rogue cavalry damage taken to 75%. And it does have a focus on attack as well as hit points. So basically, every enchant here has some attack and some hit point increases, right? Except for the Judge's Talisman. The drawbacks of this Landius is, of course, first, it's 5 stars. Second, it does have a Judge's Talisman better than the usually recommended Overlord's Badge. So, and third, overall, the hit point increase is relatively low as the player focused more on attack instead. If we compare it to my Landius, for example, this is 4435 plus 2892. My Landius, by comparison, has 4435 plus 3530, in large part due to an Overlord's Badge giving plus 509 attack as well. So there is that difference in hit points, but that Landius does have more attack than me, and it doesn't have, but the drawback again is it doesn't have the Overlord's Badge, so it's not immune to mobility reduction and so on. Despite that though, I would say it is quite usable, and what I'm finding now is more and more recently, the Leons I run into don't carry 1000 hooves. Instead, they're far more likely to be brought along with, first, they bring the faction buff Imperial Charge to buff up Leonhard, for example. And second, they usually bring Assault so that when the Leon does attack, it will apply cannot be healed on the enemy. So you do damage, and they have to remove the cannot be healed debuff before that character can be healed, potentially allowing a follow-up attack to kill it. So that's been my more recent experiences with playing Apex, which means perhaps Overlord's Badge is not as important as you may think. Alright, so that Landius, overall, I would say relatively usable. A few weaknesses, but pretty well built. And keep in mind, it is 5 stars, but I will also say my personal Landius is also 5 stars. It's not 6 stars either. Next is Lwin. This Lwin, unfortunately, is an infantry class. It is well built, but the infantry class factor and the fact that it has full moon rather than breeze really limits its use. In addition, I think the attack isn't as high as it could be, right? No. This player chose to roll attack on every single piece of equipment, so it's totally a PvE focused Lwin rather than PvP. And you can see there's 6% missing here. There is 5% missing here. Of course, it does have a 3% attack here and then 5% attack here, so it does kind of balance out, but overall, I would say this is a hard pass. Infantry Lwins generally aren't considered very good for PvP, especially since your opponents may run Landius as their tank. Next, Ledin. This Ledin is 5 stars, which once again will limit its use. In the first place, Ledin is generally not considered a PvP character. It does have really the top tier PvE gear for Ledin, right? Oath of Justice, Bloodline Magic Armor, Charon for the debuff, and then King's Amulet for increased stats, right? Very, very defense focused increases. You can see hit point and defense here, defense and hit points, defense and magic defense, perfect, and then defense purely here. So there's been a less hit point orientation on this Ledin, more focused on defense and magic defense, which is what you should be aiming for PvE content in general. So And finally, it has hard rock enchant. Overall, I would say pass on this one. It's not meant for PvP. That's basically pretty much it. You could use it, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you really need a tank and your tank is just terrible, then by all means use this Leaden. But generally speaking, you want jugglers and Landius as your tanks, not Leaden. Fourth, Leon. 6-star Leon. And this Leon has a broken set. 2 breezing chants and 2 full moons. One of them is an assault ring, which is reduced attack as well. So, what should I say? This, to me, this is a pass. You know, this is completely more for PvE content than it is for PvP. Next, I mean, the only reason you would bring it is if you needed a Leon to maybe buff up your 6-star Leonhard. Otherwise, no reason to bring him. Next is Joshua. This Joshua has pretty much a perfect set of gear for Joshua. Extreme Magic Bow, Last Rites, King's Crown. The Judge's Talisman could be replaced, but it's not a bad choice. Right? The main reason you would replace the Judge's Talisman is so you could get hit points rather than defense. But once again, it's not a bad option to have. In terms of the enchants, they all look quite good. It's all attack focused, right? Attack. So this is effectively the 12% attack increase, right? There's 10% hit points here and 3 attack with 3% attack and 3 attack. King's Crown has 4% attack with attack, and then the Judge's Talisman has the 9% crit increase and a 6% attack. It does have the Blazing Sun enchant for increased damage and crit chance, and not much else to say. Very usable for PvP. In the first place, assassins survived from Last Rites, so this is perfectly fine that it didn't have a hit point focus. So even though it is 5 stars, you don't see that many 6 stars Joshuas in the first place. So I would definitely say this is a very usable Joshua. Whether you bring him for this faction buff, Dark Demise, and or Phantom Raid. So yeah, I do recommend using this Joshua if you need one in your party. And in fact, I would love to fit it in, but I just can't figure out who I would replace in my party at this time. Let's continue. Vargas is next, another tank that's not considered top tier for PvP purposes, and this Vargas actually has an assault ring, which makes it instantly a pass, in my opinion. Right? It's a 2+2 enchant, which is what you really want, but I really don't like the assault ring. And in addition, it does seem to have less hit points than it should, right? For example, there's only 4%. There's no defense increase on this weapon. There's hit point, a small amount of hit points, 4% and 3% magic defense. Attack is useless for Vargas. There's defense here, but no hit point boost. There's defense here, but no hit point boost. And there's just defense here, no hit point boost yet again. So yeah, I would say this is a pass. And in addition, this only has single class mastery, it looks like. Doesn't even have access to power stab, so yes, this is a hard pass. Freya. I've never seen a Freya used for PvP, and just looking at the stats, 5184 power is right there a pass. The hit points is incredibly low too. So I don't even need to look any further in truth, just avoid. Next will be Hein. Surprisingly, this Hein has all 6-star equipment, but I guess the enchant value should be pretty weak for it to be such low power. Doesn't really make sense otherwise. Oh, part of it is the soldier boost is not maxed out, you can see here. And I guess the other part would be, I'm guessing this Hein doesn't have the bonds fully upgraded, so that its stats are not maxed out yet. Int is at 400 plus 313. If I take a quick peek at my Hein, right, 439 plus 266, similar kind of power, more hit points even. And this Hein is also not fully upgraded either. So, yet another hard pass. If I just quickly bring up my Hein as a demonstration, in terms of bonds, right? Yeah, heart bond's not maxed out. Toughness bond is leveled up a bit, but yeah, it has to be that that player's Hein is not fully upgraded in terms of bonds, which is why its stats are so low. Right. And in the first place, once again, Hein is not a PvP character. Oh, finally, single class mastery as well. Sonya is next. You know, the power ratings are dropping. You know, just from that, you know it's a pass. And same with Roga, right? All SR gear. So, overall, I would say, in terms of power, there's only 5 characters that are usable, right? And then from that, I would say the only characters who are worthy of using in PvP would probably be Joshua and Landius. Maybe on the Lwin if you're still incredibly low power and just trying to get into silver rank or something. And I just really don't see the point to using this Leon. So, there we go. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you found this video useful. And on that note, Nitro out.